안녕하세요. 7월 7일 금요일 방송 시작하도록 하겠습니다. 오늘 1부로 진행할 컨텐츠는 The Stanley Parable입니다. 영상에 앞서 좋아요와 구독 부탁드립니다. 안녕. 이때 유아 치시면 돼요. 알겠죠? 처음 오신 분들 잘 모르면 남들이 하는 거 보고 따라 하세요. 노인 인터넷 교실 같다고요? 아씨 좀 배고프다. 아씨 아 왜 배고프냐고. 괜찮은데. 자, 이거 되게 추천 많이 받은 게임이고요. 저는 약간 모르는 상태에서 하는 걸 되게 좋아하거든요. 아예 그냥 백지 상태에서 해야 뭔가 재미를 느끼기 때문에. 자, 오케이. 감기 걸렸냐고요? 아니요. 잠깐만. 시작하기 전에 한마디만 해도 될까요? 게임을 2번 부팅하셨을 때 시계를 2번 다 설정해 주셔서 감사해요. 아, 나 이거 시작하기 전에 아까 방송 키기 전에 시계 한번 설정했었거든요. 오이씨, 이게 뭐야? 카레는 오늘 방종하고 만들게요. 많은 사람들이 그 단계를 진지하게 생각하지 않았어요. 다들 시계를 12시에 맞춰놓고 손을 털죠. 하지만 당신은 시간을 들여 시계를 맞춰주셨으니 감사합니다. 그걸로 당신이 이 경험에 관심을 쏟으신다는 사실을 알 수 있어요. 당신이 설정한 시간이 맞는지는 저로서는 알 방법이 없어요. 그럼 딜을 하나 할게요. 매우 협조적이었으니 다음에 게임을 부팅하고 이 화면이 표시되면 시계를 자신이 좋아하는 시간으로 설정하세요. 어서요. 원하는 시간을 골라보세요. 올바른 시간이 아니어도 상관없어요. 상을 타신 거니까요. 좋아요. 이제 게임으로 돌아가죠. 뭔 개소리야. 시작이나 해. 상품이 고작 저딴 거야?
This is
건너뛰려.
the
오
story of a
깜짝이야.
man named Stanley.
스탠리란 남자 이야기래.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building
소리
where he
너무
was
큰가요?
employee number 427.
427번
Employee
직원으로
number
일하고 있었대.
427's job
어서 오세요.
was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard.
적당해요?
Orders came to him through a
미친.
monitor.
님들 키보드 칠 때
Tell
저렇게
him what
치죠.
buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-lifting, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
와 사무실 좋다.
And then one day, something
쌍시 옷
very
어떻게 치냐
peculiar
저렇게
happened.
치면?
Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite
자막
forget.
잘 보여요? 좀
He had
작은
been
거
at
아니야?
his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order
진짜
had
옛날에 보던
arrived on the
화면이라서.
monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting,
왜
or
아무도
even
없어?
say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found
스탠리는
himself
충격을
unable to
받아서
move
몸을
for the
움직일 수가
longest
없었대.
time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
뭐야? 지금부터 시작이야? 멀미나실 수 있으니까 제가 마우스 감도 좀 낮춰볼게요. 약간 이 정도? 427번짜리 429번.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
동료들이
Stanley
모두
decided to go to the
사라졌어요.
meeting room. Perhaps he had simply
스탠리는
missed a
회의실로
memo.
가보기로 했어요. 회의 시간을 놓친 거일 수도 있으니. 어디 갔어? 헉, 뭐야? 잠겨 있어. I hate Mondays. 이거 님들 생각 아니야? 나 월요일이 싫어라고 머그잔에 써져 있어. 저딴 머그잔을 쓰냐? 뭐야?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
아니 나레이션은 왼쪽에 들어갔다는데 오른쪽으로 들어가면 어떻게 되는데? 내가 저 나레이션 말을 따라야 돼?
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first,
헐,
just to admire it.
스토리 바뀌나 봐. 내 선택에 따라서 라운지로 가고 싶었던 것 같대. 우와. 와 근데 여기 되게 좋은 회사다. 사무실 완전. 와. 엄청 넓은데?
Ah, yes, truly a room worth
휴게실이야?
admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
저거 내가 설정한 시간이랑 다른데? 시계 왜 설정하라고 한 거지?
Yes, really worth it being here in the room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first
헐
open door
뭐야?
on his left.
내가 한 대로 읽어줘. 헐. 어? 이게 뭐야? 아씨 둘 다 궁금한데 어떡해? 아, 나 여기도 보고 싶은데? 눕지 마세요?
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
뭐야 잠겼어? 아씨 한 번 선택하면 돌릴 수 없나봐요. 나 공사장 맵으로 와버렸네? 뭐야 여기? 점프하지 마세요. 이게 다 움직일 동안 뛰지 말래. 가만히 있어야 되나봐.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the
와
wrong
엄청
foot
넓다.
here.
이게 뭐야?
I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time.
와 안전장치도
There's
없이.
someone you've been neglecting,
오, 씨.
Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every
점프하면은
decision
하지
by
말라고 했죠?
yourself.
이러는 거 아니야?
I'm not asking for me.
스페이스바가 아닌가?
This is it, Stanley.
만약에
Your
떨어지면
chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside,
떨어지면 어떻게
to
돼?
let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
떨어지면 죽어? 죽나?
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
뭐야? 엔딩이야? 점프가 스페이스바가 아닌가? 아씨
All
뭐야?
of his co-workers
뭐야?
had
업적
gone.
달성했어.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply
헐.
missed a memo.
뭐야? 원래 아침이었어? 아씨. 뭐지? 모든 경우의 수가
When
있는 거야?
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
이번에 일로 가볼까? 이건 뭐야? 회의실인가? 회의실.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley
해고당하지
decided to
않는
go up to his
팁.
boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
다들 어디 간 거야? 커피는 그대로 있고. 블룸 클로셋.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
아래로 가면 안 돼? 아씨. 뭐야? 비밀 문서 아니야? 오, 주차장이다.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk?
해고당하게 될지
All because he
모르는데.
believed everyone had vanished. His boss would think he
이게
was
뭐야?
crazy. And
방탈출
then
가면
something
있지 않아,
occurred to
이런 거?
Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any
무슨
logical
게임인지는
sense.
저도 알아가고 있어요.
And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange
다른 이상한 것들이
observations.
관찰되기
For
시작했대.
example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down?
발이 안 보이는
Why
이유는
did
뭘까요?
doors close automatically behind him wherever he
나
went?
발 어딨어?
And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating?
계속 똑같은 데야.
No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This
근데
can't be real.
달라졌는데 여기는?
And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it.
네?
I'm dreaming! He yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally
뭐야?
found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone.
진짜
He
꿈인가?
wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all.
뒤로 가볼까?
And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying
몇 번 더
and
가야
began
되나?
to gently float above the ground.
오!
Then
엘리베이터가 원래
he
있었나?
imagined himself
천장이 좀
soaring through
낮아.
space on a magical star field, and it
아닌가?
too
뭐야?
appeared. It was so much fun. And
어두워졌어.
Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all
이상한 질문이
entered Stanley's
떠올랐어요.
head. One he was amazed
더
he
일찍
hadn't
묻지
asked
않았다는
himself
사실이
sooner.
놀라운 질문이죠.
Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly
언제까지
strange.
지속되는
I'm
거지?
dreaming about a voice
시계를
describing me,
보는
thinking
건가?
about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd, and
아니면
wondered if this
저
voice
나레이션이
was to all
끝날
people
때까지
in their
기다려야
dreams,
되는 거 아니야?
the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream.
꿈이 아니었대요, 이건.
Was Stanley simply deceiving himself? Believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life.
한 번
Now, hearing the
어두워졌는데?
voice speak these words was
아니
quite
저 사람
a shock
말할
to
때까지
Stanley.
기다려볼까?
After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago?
계속 말해봐.
How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control. That this was a
저도
dream.
무슨 게임인지 아직 감이
So
안
he
와요.
closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to
조용히
wake
눈을
up.
감으며 이제
He
깨어나자고
felt
했대.
the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself.
자기
I'm
자리에서
through
일어나는
with
거
this
아니야 또?
dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please. It's all I want. I want my apartment and
아내도
my wife
있었어?
and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I
아,
am
최면
normal.
걸리는 것 같아 지금.
Everything will be fine. I am okay.
어? 뭐야? 헐 꿈이 아니었어.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am
누가
real.
살아있다고
I
말
must
좀
be real.
해줘.
I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
먹니?
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
마리엘라라는 여자의 이야기입니다.
Mariella woke up on a day like
마리엘라는
any
여느
other.
때와 다름없이
She
눈을
rose,
떴어요.
got
일어나 옷을
dressed,
갈아입고
gathered her
소지품을 챙기고
belongings,
직장으로
and walked to her
걸어갔죠.
place of work. But on this particular
여느
day,
날과 달리 이날
her walk was
그녀의 걸음을 한
interrupted by
남자의
the
시체가
body of a man
가로막았어요.
who had
그는
stumbled
비틀거리며
through
거리를
town
헤매다가
talking and
혼잣말로
screaming to
고함을
himself,
지르더니
and then
보도에
collapsed
쓰러져
dead on
숨을
the
거뒀어요.
sidewalk.
그게 스탠리야?
And although she would soon turn to go call for an
그녀는
ambulance, for just a few
구급차를
brief moments,
불렀지만
she
짧은
considered
시간에
the
이상한
strange
남자에 대해
man.
생각해봤어요.
He was obviously
보다시피
crazy.
미친
This
사람이겠죠.
much she
그녀는
knew.
그것만큼은
Everyone
알았어요.
knows what
미친
crazy
사람은
people
적
look
보면
like.
티가
And in
나니까요.
that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be
설마 이거
normal.
엔딩 아니겠지?
I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this,
에?
and in a certain way,
죽은 남자를 보고
seeing this
기분이
man made her
좋아졌다고?
feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body.
엔딩 도감 채우는 게임인가? 설마 엔딩? 뭐야? 선택지가 도대체 얼마나 많다는 거야? 나 그렇게 뒤졌나봐. 아씨. 아, 그럼 이거
All of
경우의
his
수.
co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had
경우의 수
simply missed
구하기.
the memo.
이런데 막 열리는 문도 있는 거 아니야?
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
왼쪽 문부터 해결하자.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of
뭐야
disbelief,
저건?
Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office.
일단
Hoping coming
위로.
to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
상사의 사무실이 있는 위층으로 가기로 했습니다. 오, 뭐야? 헐. 헉! 화장실? 우와. 헉! 뭐야? 이게 다야? 혼자 쓰는 거야, 여기를? 저 쿵푸 팬도 아니야? 어디부터 왼쪽부터 돌아볼까요? 우와.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known
저거
was that
뭐야,
the
오류야?
keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him.
책상
And so the
뒤에
boss had assigned
비밀번호가
it an
있다고?
extra secret PIN number. 2845.
2845.
But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
알 리가 없죠라 해놓고 알려주면 어떡하냐.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck.
오.
Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
뭐야? 아, 여기도 공간 있는 것 같은데? 아니야? 비밀 통로 같은데 이거? 안 보이긴 하지만. 아, 안 보여. 엘리베이터야? 아까 그 1층으로 가지는 거 아니려나? 뭐야, 죽었어? 아니죠?
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the
시키는
nature
대로
of
한번
his
해볼게요.
job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question
지
would not go
나레이션이 말하는
unanswered
대로만
for
가보고
long.
있어. 오! 뭐야? 에이?
Stanley walked straight ahead through the
Mind
large door that
control.
read Mind Control
시설?
Facility.
잠깐만. 아, 씨, 이런데 유혹 넘어가면 안 돼. 이걸. 아이고 그거 같다. 그 뭐야 공포 게임 쫓아오는 거. 오?
The lights rose on an enormous room
우와.
packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place
TV
hold?
저게 다
Stanley
TV래요.
thought to
TV.
himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
응? 몇 개일 저건가? 파피 플레이 타임인가 그거 같다. 여기서 일하는 사람도 있는 거야? 뭐야 CCTV 상자?
Now the monitors jumped to life. Their
헐,
true
해고당한
nature
사람.
revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building. Stanley's
와
co-workers.
미친 여기서
The
감시하나
lives
봐.
of
이거
so many
보이긴 해?
individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
잠깐 스탠리가 몇 번이었지? 나 해고돼 있는 거 아니야? 267번이었나? 나 몇 번이었지? 427번이었어요? 427? 해고 안 당했다. 여기 내 자리 한번 봐보자. 아, 오 맞나봐. 오. 아. 뭐야? 이제 일로 가는 건가? 이건 뭐지? 이거 남자 화장실 아니야?
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
미리 따놔야 안 괜찮다.
No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone
저거 근데
else's control?
스플리트 왜 계속 나오는
Never.
거지?
It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible?
와.
Had he truly spent his entire life
이건 또
utterly
무슨 게임이야?
blind to the
저분
world?
처음 보겠습니다. 스탠리 패러블이라는 게임인데 저
But here
정확히
was the
뭔지
proof,
모르겠어요.
the heart of the operation.
뭐 알아가
Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content, walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this
여기서
very
걷기,
place.
먹기,
And as the
일하기가
cold
다
reality of his
결정된다.
past began to sink in,
설마 나는 사람이
Stanley
아니라
decided that this machinery would never again
하나의 그냥
exert
게임
its
캐릭터
terrible
개체 이런 거
power
아니야?
over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once
제어
and
장치를
for
완전히
all.
분해해 버리려고 한다고? 오. 뭐야 여기는? 아니, 선택지가 이렇게 많으면은 나 기억 못해. 내가 뭘 눌렀는지 나. 오씨 뭐야 이거? 와 이거 그거 같다. 아이맥스 영화관. 아이맥스 영화관 아니야 이거? 딱 그 느낌인데? 여기 제 ABCD 2열에 앉으면 약간 이런 느낌이야. 2열 CGV. 그럼 딱 이 각도야. 2열 12번에 앉으면 딱 여기야. 2열 12번.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
오케이.
Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you
스플리트
go and you
뭐냐고,
try to take
진짜.
control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just
기상 자폭
initiated the
시스템이라고?
network's emergency detonation system.
아니야,
In the
해제할 수
event
있을
that this
거야.
machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say 2 minutes. Aha, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's
탈출하라고?
your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a
망가뜨리는
shame we
건가?
have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the
탈출
bomb
시간인가?
goes off. But what precious
에?
moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you,
어디야?
about me, where we're
여긴가?
going, what all this means. I barely know where to
와,
start.
씨, 뭐야. 방탈출이야.
What's that? You
아,
want to know
이거
where your
숫자가
co-workers are?
5431 있는 거 보니까 이거
A moment
순서대로
of
누르는
solace
건가?
before you're obliterated. All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I
잠깐만,
erased
또
them.
위치가
I
계단위가
turned off the machine.
4번이었고
I set you free.
3번을
Of course,
누르라는 거
that was
아니야?
merely
모니터에 나와
in
있는
this
거?
instance
어서오세요.
of the story. Sometimes when I tell it,
이것이
I
뭐야?
simply let you sit there in your
우와.
office forever, pushing
뭔데, 이거?
buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground,
아, 뭐야?
swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though. This version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take
집으로
back the
보내줘.
control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be
38초
even
남았어.
better.
5,
My goodness,
5,
only 34
4.
seconds
저기도
left.
하나 있는데?
But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what?
3.
To hell with it.
3도
I'm
있죠,
going to
3.
put some extra time on the clock. Why not? These are precious
시간,
additional seconds.
추가 시간 줬다.
Time doesn't grow on trees.
그래, 시간은 금이지.
Oh dear me, what's the matter,
2가
Stanley?
어딨지?
Is it that you have
2,
no
5,
idea
2.
where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable
반대로?
of turning it
1,
off? I mean, look at you.
2.
Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this
3
room.
여기 있었거든.
These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones, or maybe this big red
3.
button, or this door.
그다음에 계단 위에
Everything,
4.
anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley?
아, 제발
That this
좀
video game can
조용히
be
해.
one
아, 정신없어.
sold? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is?
4.
Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for
잠시만요.
you. That timer isn't a
조금만
catalyst
이따
to keep the action
틀어드릴게요.
moving along. It's just seconds ticking
오,
away to
5번.
your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy
했는데?
it first, so you
아니야, 이거?
can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle.
굿바이.
30 seconds until a big
427번.
move and then nothing. No
고용자.
end here, just you being
나 427이나.
Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go?
어차피 뒤진 것 같으니까 한번 볼게요. PC는 최소 2년 뒤에 나오니 호응 감사합니다.
この後にもあといっぱい待ってますよ。
아, 8.
そうか、
용과 같이 8. 아,
そうかもな。
아, 이거
そうっすよ。
2년 뒤에 나온다고요? PC? 그러면은 용과 가치는 마음속에
これから
묻어놔야겠다.
も一つ説教しておくか。はい。お前、サエコに何言ったんだ？
여기까지 보고
歴戦のキャバ嬢をあんだけ
영도
怒らせる
잠깐
なんて
닫아놓을게요.
相当だぜ。
원래 저런 게임은
まだ怒ってました。
잊고 있다가 뭐야 나와? 하고 해야 재밌어. 기다리면 시간 안 가.
はい。そんでこっぴどく振られました。難波と足立さんにも反省会してもらってめちゃくちゃ謝ったんですけど。もう
PC가 동시 발매일이라고요? 플스랑?
情けねえ声出すなよ。
키류랑 뭐 같이 나온다 했던 것 같은데 제 폭탄이랑
桐生さんからも何かアドバイス。いや、桐生さん女っ気なさそうだしな。
키류 근데 저렇게 하니까 할아버지 같다.
おい、今なんつった？いやいや、褒め言葉としてですよ。失礼なやつだな。
왜 탈색한 거지? 그 흰머리가 난 건가?
そうなんですか。すみません。結構マジで意外でした。じゃあプ プロポーズとか
늙은 건가? 시간이 흘러서?
当然だ。マジっすか。参考までになんて言ったか覚えてます？
점저 추천 좀 해줘서 점저. 궁금하다. 스토리 어떻게 됐지? 점심 겸 저녁 추천 좀 해주세요. 점심 겸 저녁.
Another choice. Make it count or don't. It's all the same to me. All a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say happily ever after.
아, 진짜 저 폭발 일어나면 이렇게 정신이 끊기겠지? 뭐야, 이렇게 죽은 거야? 오징어 게임이냐고 진짜.
What could it mean?
아이씨, 오징어 게임이야?
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
경우의 수 하나씩 찾으면 되는데 왼쪽 문이 생각보다 경우의 수가 많은데? 잠깐만. 이거를 이렇게 좀 뒤에 좀 기대하겠어. 아, 내년 상반기에 모든 플랫폼 다 동시 발매요? 오, 기대된다.
Yet there was not a single person here either.
나는 이런 거 어떻게 외우냐면 왼쪽에 있는 것만 따다다 하고 막 이런 식으로? 아니면 못해요. 나 마인크래프트 광산에 갇혀도 잘 나오거든요. 근데 이게 탈출이 있긴 한 건가? 아, 맞다. 여기도 있었잖아. 아, 여기 쿵푸 팬더 맵도 있는데 잠깐만. 아, 뭐야, 왜 이렇게 많아? 아, 씨. 아, 여기도 궁금한데? 뭐야, 팬더 머리에 총을 겨누고 있는 거야? 비즈니스 스트레티지? 비즈니스 분석? 오! 네. 아래로 가는 거 눌렀는데? 위로 갈 수 있나? 오! 뭐야? 뭐지? 고속 엘리베이터인가? 이러다가 뒤지는 거 아니야? 텅 하고. 몇 층까지 올라가는 거지? 올라가고 있는 거 맞지? 에? 아까 거기잖아. 뭐야? 반대로 눌러서 그런가 내가? 위로 가는 거 누르고 다시 위로 가볼게요. 몇 층인지라도 보여줘야 되는 거 아니야? 오른쪽에서만 들리게 하기. 이번엔 아래로 내려가 볼게요. 아, 배고파. 현기증 나. 아니면 내가 참을성 없이 그냥 눌러서 그런가? 뭐야? 똑같은 데잖아.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
여기에 문
What
있는 거
could it
다 알아.
mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing
야,
through
내가
papers
버튼을
on
한
the
번 더
boss's
누르면
desk,
바로
pulling
열리더라고요.
books off the shelf, looking behind
CCTV다.
paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its
다른
purpose
번호
be?
눌러볼까?
In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley
2845.
couldn't possibly
근데
have
다른 거
known
눌러볼
this.
거야.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
Shut up. 1541 collect call.
Forgot, but it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by itself. And Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo.
뭐야? 틀렸는데 열어줬어. 똑같은 데 같은데 아까랑? 올라가는 거 눌렀는데? 목미? 이거는 구현 못했나 보지?
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door
안
that
가.
read Mind
탈출할래.
Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
죽음을 맞이하게 될 거라고?
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
길이 계속되는 것 같지 않아요?
At this
그쵸?
point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
안 죽는 거 다 알아. 진짜 죽나? 어? 어?
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer
아,
to his
합숙기다!
it reflected
나
that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the
Oh
eyeballs from
no!
a blind
Oh
man.
no!
And so he resigned and willingly
Oh, no, no, no,
accepted
no,
this
no, no.
violent end
Oh, no.
to his brief and shallow life.
홀씨! 어,
Farewell, Stanley.
에?
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
어? 어? 뭐야? 어? 안 죽었어? 어, 뭐야? 엔딩이야? 뭔데?
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
씨, 이거 딱 썸네일 각인데? 우와.
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you
미로다.
see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he
시작할
hit
때부터
start?
뭐야. 이 청사진은 게임 시작부터 사무실을 보여줍니다. 스탠리의 사무실에서 두 개의 문으로 가는 길이 게임을 만들 때 완성된 첫 번째 부분이었습니다. 코어 레이아웃은 첫 번째 반복과 거의 동일하게 유지되지만 개발 전반에 걸쳐 섹션이 추가 및 변경되었습니다. 스탠리의 컴퓨터 이거 뭐 박물관이야? 아니 뭐야 이거 전시회야 갑자기. 이거 아까 벽들에 걸려있던 사진들이거든요? 이거 모델하우스가 있어. 서류 보관함. 복도. 이 오프닝 섹션의 페이스를 제대로 조정하는 게 중요했으므로 이 복도는 플레이어가 적절한 시간에 두 개의 문에 도달하도록 이동 및 변경되었습니다. 두 개의 열린 문 세트는 스탠리 패러블 디자인의 첫 번째 콘크리트 조각이었습니다. 일단 이 방이 만들어지고 나서 게임의 나머지 부분은 이 방이 제기하는 모순을 탐구해가며 확장되는 식으로 발전했습니다. 그냥 본인들 만든 거 보라는 거 아니야? 사무실. 버튼 효과음. 게임 전반에 걸쳐 버튼을 눌렀을 때 사용되는 사운드 선택. 각 효과음은 키보드 치는 소리와 신시사이저 톤이 섞인 음입니다. 오, 눌러볼 수도 있다. 응? 사무실 컴퓨터. 이거 카드놀이 아니야? 나 이거 완전 좋아하는데. 크레딧. 아, 뭐야. 예술의 전당 뭔데 갑자기. 정비실. 정비실의 초기 버전. 아씨, 뭐 먹지? 소리 너무 크게 났어. 잠깐만요. 배에서 자꾸 소리가 나가지고. 뭐 먹지? 인쇄기 소리가 아니고 배에서 소리 났어요. 햄버거 먹을까? 간단하게? 역시 간단한 건 버거지. 치즈버거? 치즈버거랑 사이드를 뭐 넣지? 어니언링. 됐어. 봉구스 밥버거? 봉구스 밥버거도 좋아하는데. 일단 그냥 버거 단품이랑 양파 튀김 시켰어요. 계속 꼬르륵 소리 나. 아니요, 수제버거집에서 그냥 시켰어요. 싸게 파는 데 있어갖고. 와, 여기도 있는데? 있지? 와. 울트라 디럭스 발표. 2018년 12월 우리는 더 게임 어워즈에서 스탠리 패러블 울트라 디럭스 버전을 발표했습니다. 우와, 뭐야, 엄청 넓은데요? 내레이터 이메일? 두 번째 예고편을 보낸 후 사람들에게 내레이터에게 할 질문을 이메일로 보내달라고 부탁했습니다. 처음에는 이러한 추가 홍보 자료를 사용할 계획이었지만 적당한 용도를 찾지 못했습니다. 이메일 중 일부래. 뭐야, 게이? 아유 게이? 진짜 저렇게 보냈다는 거야? 진짜 받은 메일들인가 봐. I appreciate the previous. Will the Stanley Parable have infinite quests? How many endings? 엔딩 몇 개나 있어? If the Stanley 라운지 초기 버전 사무실 뭐야? 화물 승강기 뭐야 이거? 아파트 타이머? 아파트 엔딩으로 이어지는 선택의 의전 버전에서는 15층에 전화를 받아야 하는 타이머가 있었대. 나중에 이거 나오나봐 이거. 전화를 안 받으면 엔딩이 달라진대. 이거 뭐야 이거는? 정비실 레이아웃. 여기 진짜 약간 그건가봐요. 히든 엔딩인가봐. 내가 지금 온 데가. 처음 두 개의 문을 따라가는 복대 흐름은 플레이어가 여러 번 반복할 것으로 제대로 만드는 게 중요했습니다. 와, 근데 이런 거 너무 분위기 좋지 않아요? 따스함이 느껴진다. 이건 또 뭐야? 젠딩 레버? 이 레버는 원래 젠딩의 일부였습니다. 진짜 전시회 온 것 같다. 이 스크린샷은 젠딩으로 알려진 엔딩의 초기 버전이래. 젠딩? 젠딩 모델. 젠딩은 많은 반복을 거쳤습니다. 이게 뭔... 탈출 메뉴? 오랫동안 플레이어가 탈출 메뉴에서 재시작했을 때만 종료되는 엔딩이 있었대요. 헐. 그걸 해야 된다는 걸 깨닫는 플레이어가 거의 없어서 모두가 짜증냈대. 그러면 이거를 하라는 거야? 탈출 메뉴에서 재시작했을 때만 종료되는 엔딩? 탈출 직전에 재시작을 해야지 종료되는 엔딩이 있었나봐. 카운트다운로? 이거 아까 내가 갇힌 데 아니야? 감시실 엘리베이터? 원래는 위아래를 오르락 내리락 할 수 있었는데 플레이어가 위가 뭐고 아래가 무엇인지 기억하기 어렵다는 것을 알고 이것을 포기하고 대신 두 엔딩을 함께 배치했대요. 원래는 위아래 맘대로 갈 수 있었나봐. 뭐야? 뭐야 방금 튀어나왔어. 나와봐. 나와. 나왔다. 탈출 직전에 눌러야 된다는 거 아니었어요? 이것은 베타에서 있었던 자유 엔딩이래. 헐, 밖으로 나갈 수 있는 엔딩이 있어? 뭐야 이거? 뭐야? 현금이 있는데? 한 바퀴 돌았거든요? 저거 끄면 꺼지는 거 아니야 진짜? 출구.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
헐, 끄면 꺼져?
Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be
게임 뭔가
seen.
이쁘죠? 뭐야?
But listen to me. You can still save these two.
나
You can
살았잖아!
stop the
왜 다시
program before they
앞질이야?
both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game.
종료를 누르라고?
As you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company.
뭐야? 아닌가? 하람에 하람에 아 뭐야
All of
낚시야?
his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley
너무
decided
빨리
to go to the
종료를
meeting
눌렀나?
room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
알바야.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
하라는 대로 다시 해볼게요.
Yet there
스탠리
was not a
사무실 원래
single
약간
person here
어두웠었어.
either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Hoping he'd come
상사의
into a
사무실로
staircase,
가기.
Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
스피드런
The moment he
2847이었나?
entered his manager's office, Stanley froze in his tracks. Not a living soul anywhere. Could he really be all alone?
아닌데?
This was too much for Stanley to
2587?
take. Too much for any man to take. He fell to his
2867?
knees, bursting into half moans, half sobs, the guttural retching of life from a man denied any hope, any reason to keep going. Here on the floor, he lay prone. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible. He didn't even
내레이터가
have a single
이야기할
minute to
시간을
just
1분도
let the
주려 의가
narrator
없었대.
talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy. So he relaxed for
열받았어.
a few moments with some calming new age music.
갑자기 음악이 나오는데? 음미? 이게
Feeling soothed
뭐야?
and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
내려가. 시키는 대로 해보자.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens.
조명이 켜졌어.
What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself.
몇 개를
Did he
만들어
have the
이제.
strength to find out?
와 근데 진짜 무섭다 이거. 오, 얼마나 높은 곳이야 여기?
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed.
1번도 있네?
Each bore
어째
the
이거
number
오징어
of an
게임 아니야
employee
완전?
in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom
일단
meant
시키는
nothing.
대로만 해볼게요.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
약간 이 게임의
No.
저거는
He
목적은
refused
그거
to believe
아닐까요?
it. He
이런
couldn't
상황이
accept it. His
이런
own
상황에
life
직면하지
in
않은
someone
지금 이
else's
순간을
control.
감사하며 살아라 이런 거 아니야?
It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof, the heart of the operation. Controls
이
labeled with
운영의 핵심은
emotions,
행복, 슬픔,
happy
자족과
or
같은
sad
감정을
or
제어하는
content.
거래.
Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power.
파워를 끄겠어.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty.
뭐지?
Was it over?
끝난 걸까?
Yes.
네?
He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away.
설마 야외야?
And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved.
아니면 알고
Where
보니
had
스크린
his
아니야?
co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he
오,
realized
그
none of
야외
this
엔딩
mattered to
아까
him.
봤던 거
For
그거
it was
아니에요?
not knowledge or even power
전시회에서
that he
본 거?
had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand.
이 게임이 알리고자 한 건 그거 아니야?
No longer would anyone tell him
회사에서
where to go,
남의 명령에
what to do,
복종하면서
or how to feel.
어? 시키는
Whatever
대로만
life
하지
he
말고
lives, it will be
스스로
his.
퇴사해가지고
And that was
자유를
all
찾아라
he
이거
needed
아니야?
to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing.
어서 오세요.
Stanley stepped through the open door.
이거 진짜야? Is it true? Not screen?
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new
시키는
path
대로 해야
before him.
자유를
This
얻는다?
was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was
알고 보니
happy.
VR 끼고 일하고 있었어. 회사에서. 뭐야? 진짜 깬 거야? 그래도 진엔딩 봐서 뭔가 홀가분하지 않아요? 전화 울려. What?
Hi, Stanley. Just wanted to leave you a message to let you know there's a few things I need you to pick up on your way home from work today. We need milk, cereal, dish soap, spaghetti, get a thing of sugar, some bread, and coffee beans, whichever ones you like. I'll give you a call if there's anything I forgot. Thanks, sweetie. See you tonight.
맛있겠다. 아까는 전화가 안 울렸었는데 전화가 울려. 오씨. 진짜 백룸 그거 같다, 그쵸? 이 조명 밝기도 그렇고 문 많은 것도 그렇고.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
이미 진엔딩 봐갖고 했던 말 안 하려고 하는 거 아니에요? 나레이터죠 왜?
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Hoping he coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's
헐,
office.
감정 조절 컨트롤러 꺼가지고 할 말만 하는 거 아니야? 진짜? 오?
Okay, I think we all know the drill by now.
이제 뭘?
Blah blah blah. Dark
헐,
secrets,
뭐야?
the keypad. Stanley pushes some buttons. Oh, hey, look, it's a new passageway.
헐, 대사
Oh,
바뀌었어.
surprise.
뭐니? 아니요, 샤코 사건 몰라요. 일단은 이 게임 할 때는 이 게임에 관한 이야기만 하도록 합시다. 엔딩이 되게 분기점이 많아요. 약간 삐진 거 같지 않아? 내레이션? 그쵸? 내가 엔딩 봐서
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
뭔가 열받은 목소리 같은데? 그래, 니
The
쩔어
lights rose
이러면서
on an enormous room packed with television
흥미
screens.
잃은 거 같아.
What horrible secret did this
마치
place hold? Stanley thought to
아까는
himself.
뉴비 와가지고
Did he have the
신나서
strength to
이거저거 막
find out?
이젠 다 아는 거 같으니까 대충 알아는 느낌? 나 근데 햄버거 벌써
Now the
왔어.
monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
이것도 좀 대사 스킵해주면 안 돼? 너무 긴데?
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in
형제
someone
껐잖아.
else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire
더
life
빨리 탈출해야
utterly
되나?
blind to the world?
그런 것도 있을 것 같아요. 엄청 빨리 탈출하면
But here was the
당신은
proof,
다 알고 있네
the heart of
이러면서
the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content, walking, eating, working, all of it monitored
다른
and
거 눌러볼까,
commanded from
이제?
this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in,
노랑, 초록,
Stanley
보라,
decided that
핑크?
this machinery would never again exert its terrible power
색은 뭘
over another
의미하는 거지?
human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
숫자대로 눌러봐야 되나? 숫자들 있잖아요. 1 2 3은 아까 뒤에 있었지? 귀찮죠, 그쵸? 3 그다음에 4가 저기 있었다. 빛이 난다는 거는 어두울 때 작업을 해야 된다는 말 아니야? 근데 여기 막혀 있어. 씨, 안 되긴 하는데? 뭐야, 이게 아닌가 봐. 무조건 저기 샤워실 들어가야 되나 본데? 근데 좀 신박하긴 하다. 어두워서 안 보여. 아까처럼
And
시스템을
when at last he found the source of the room's
끄지
power,
말고 이제는
he
켜야겠지?
knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this. Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the
저거
controls,
켜서 쟤
did
또
you? After
시끄러워지는
they
거 아니야?
kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do
아까랑
much
똑같은
better
대사
than
같은데?
that.
아까
I'm
5
afraid you don't
눌렀을
have
때랑?
nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just
이제 시간
initiated the
나올 거야.
network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are said to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say 2 minutes. Now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your
아니면 그거
story
아니야?
now.
아까
Shape it to
거기서
your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about
노란색
you,
사.
about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to
노란색이 의미하는
start.
건 뭐지?
What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are?
일단
A
4번은
moment
저
of
위에
solace
있잖아요?
before you're obliterated. All right, I'm in a good mood.
아니면
You're gonna die
숫자랑
anyway. I'll tell
색깔
you
뭐 맞춰야
exactly
되나
what happened
본데?
to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free.
일단 4
Of course, that was
눌러보고
merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit
Okay,
there in your
okay,
office
okay,
forever,
싫어,
pushing
싫어,
buttons
싫어.
endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though. This version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock, why not?
빨간색 1?
These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear
쓰는
me, what's
방법이
the matter,
있는 것 같아.
Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would
여기
you think that,
버튼
Stanley?
힌트가
That
있는데
this video game can
노란색
be
네
beaten?
번을 누르.
One solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? But you really believe there's an answer? How many times will you replay this bit, looking desperately for a solution? 10? 100? 1,000? I look forward to finding out and to watching the bomb go off each time you fail. Just you and me and the retching explosion
뭔데,
of fire and
이게?
metal over and
핑크
over and
색깔.
over for all of eternity. And
그
Stanley
작은 글자로
died
나와
again.
있거든요.
And Stanley died again. And Stanley died again. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here. Just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life? Or will you let it go peacefully?
된 거 아니야?
Another choice. Make it count. Or don't. It's all the same to me. All a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever after.
No! 아 뭔데? 일단 햄버거 좀 들여올게요. 아 진짜. 저거 나무 위키 좀 찾아봐요. 하하. 역시 치즈버거에서 나는 그 향이 있어. 음. 버거리? 버거리. 엔딩이 50개가 넘는다고요? 짤방이냐고요? 그거는 님들 하는 거 봐서 결정하도록 하겠습니다. 원래 치즈버거에는 치즈랑 패티밖에 안 들어가는데. 많이 쉽지 않아요, 지금? 이거 없는 게 있구나. 여기 뭐 났어요. 뜯었어. 저는 애교 부릴 줄 몰라요. 최근에 영화 뭐 봤냐고요? 뭐 봤게요? 네, 얘기해도 돼요. 범죄도시는 못 봤어. 아, 씨발, 아우, 주먹 났어. 아, 즙 떨어져. 잠깐만. 범죄도시 말고 그거 어때요? 엘리멘탈은 어때요? 엘리멘탈? 동생이 재밌다던데. 아, 근데 엔딩 50개 굳이 다 봐야 돼? 아, 아니요. 환불러는 안 해요. 그런 짓 하지 않습니다. 아, 배불러. 척추 펴달라고요? 디스크 수술 150만 원이요? 1,500이 아니고? 죽었어, 맛있어서. 어니언링이야, 네. 아, 배불러. 아. 할 수 있다. I can do it. 아, 나 진짜 한 입을 꼭 못 먹겠어. 아니, 치즈버거요. 아. 엄마. 엄마. 전 매사가 진지한데요? 요즘은 방송에서 트름 안 하냐고요? 정 털린다고? 용트림이 약해졌다고? 남자친구가 트름하면 어떡할 거냐고요? 그럼 뒤통수를 세게 쳐야지. 그렇다고 내가 막 하지는 않는데? 나도 안 해. 내가 여기 뭐 났어요, 여기. 뭐 뾰루지 나서 잡아 뜯었는데 살이 찢겼어. 아니, 입술 포진이 아니라 여드름 났어. 물은 몰라요. 왜 이러지? 안 나! 이거 눌러도 안 아파. 뭐지? 스탠리 끝이냐고요? 아니요? 근데 지금 배불러서 말하기 싫어졌어.
쫄그렁 퉁탕 팅통탕 팅팅팅.
아니, 일 바빠서 간만에 왔더니 어쩌다 삐쩍 말랐음?
저 51kg까지 다시 빠졌다 다시 찌고 있습니다. 그리고 머리 묶으면 원래 사람이 더 말라 보여. 머리를 묶으면은 사람이 더 말라 보이는 그런 게 있어요. 고맙습니다. 후원.
Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a
50
computer,
아래로
perhaps, and a painting.
떨어지면은
or a
진짜
photo?
꼴 보기
He
싫을걸요?
could no longer
방송
recall.
초반이 48이었는데 진짜 여기가 이렇게 쑥 들어가가지고 별로 건강하지 못해 보여. 그래서 먹어가지고
When
좀
Stanley
치워야
came
돼.
to a set of two open doors,
갓
he entered
게임이냐고요?
the door on his left.
웃음밖에 안 나온다. 헐, 여러분 이거 봐요. 헐, 뭐야? 팬티 보여. 헐, 이런 거 내보내도 돼? 눈뽕 당하라고.
Yet there was
나기는
not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief,
Alt 탭
Stanley
재빨리
decided to go
누르죠.
up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked
뒷방로드를
upstairs to his
허겁지겁
boss's
Alt 탭
office.
누르죠.
Here's
뭐야?
the door, just go.
이제는 그냥 문 열어줘. 이제는 그냥 열어주는데? 몸이? 잠깐만. 신호가 왔어. 뭐야, 스파크가 튀기네? 뭐지?
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
여기서 아까 뭐가 그러고 오늘 누르고
The
가만히
lights
있으라고?
rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
옆에 길이 있었다고요? 아, 거기는 아까 갔다 왔어요. 출구.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley,
빨리,
one
빨리,
of them,
빨리, 빨리.
eternally monitored in
빨리,
this
빨리,
place
빨리.
where freedom meant nothing.
아. 그러면 뭐야? 오늘 누르는 순간 그냥 폭발 엔딩이에요?
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley
아,
really been
거기서
under
대기해보기? 오케이. 헐. 설마 다시 시작 눌러야 되는데 재개 눌러가지고 안 됐던 거 아니야?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the
완전
meeting
리셋된
room.
거 아니야?
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Hoping he coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
에?
Here's the door, just go.
아니다.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape
카피
written on
플레이타임
it,
같다,
the
그쵸?
truth was
해보진
that at the
않았지만
end of this
그거
hall,
같아.
Stanley would meet his violent death. The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
아, 자요? 이 시간에 자면 진짜 개 노답인데. 자요?
As the machine whirred into motion,
여기서 가만히
Stanley was
있어보자고?
inched closer and closer to his demise. He reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real
영어
story,
듣기도.
trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
여기서 재계하기? 여기서 재계 다시 시작 누르라고요? 그럼 그냥 짜부 되라고요? 뭐 누르라고요, 여기서? 그러니까 여기 짜부 안 되면은 다 쓰자.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
아, G4 엔딩 낯설인데, 씨.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive
끝이야,
as
이렇게?
ever. What exactly did the
이거는 그럼
narrator think he
선택지가
was
이게
going to
다인가 보네?
accomplish?
여기 100%
When
이스터 에그가
every
있을 것
path you
같은데.
can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless,
오케이,
making
오케이,
life
오케이.
the
셔럽,
same.
셔럽.
Do you see now?
오케이, 오케이. No.
Do you see
I don't
that
understand.
Stanley was
오케이.
already dead from the moment he hit start?
여기 패스하고. 이거 뭐야? 워존? 개발 초기에는 우리는 스탠리가 외계인과 싸우는 전장에서 끝나는 엔딩을 디자인했었대. 근데 만들기 시작한 직후 전체 게임의 톤에 비해 너무 장난스럽고 도발적이라는 것을 깨달았대. 속이 안 좋아. 이거 내 자리잖아. 헐. 좌에서 우로 시간이 지남에 따라 스탠리 사무실에 진화된 거래. 1년 단위로. 뭔 차이야. 와, 여기 이쁘다. 와. 좀 감상 좀 할게요. 멋진 작품이군. 마음 편해지지 않아요? 이런 거 보면 마음 편해지던데. 여기 침대 놓으면 딱 잠 잘 오겠다. 뭐야 이거? 여기가 출구였잖아요, 그렇죠?
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another.
똑같은
How they
엔딩인데. 이거?
both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit.
탈출을 누르고 종료를 누르세요. 해소했잖아,
No
아까.
way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's
근데
path.
기다려보자.
Stop
아깐
now.
종료했는데
Your
아무것도
only
없었으니까.
true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let.
씨발.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the
이제
meeting
그냥
room.
오른쪽으로
Perhaps he had
가야겠다.
simply missed a memo.
오른쪽이 선택지가 많았어.
When Stanley came to a
shut
set
up,
of two
shut up,
open
shut up, shut up.
doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow. Yes, this room. What a beautiful room. What a gorgeous, gorgeous room. Thank
아이다.
goodness Stanley had taken this detour on his way to the meeting room. Life without having experienced this room was now too horrible, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
네. 아까 저쪽으로 갔었잖아요. 이번에 일로?
And so he detoured through the maintenance
우와.
section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
아, 왜 문이 또 두 갠데? 아씨. 더 지하로 내려가는데, 이거? 아씨. 이번 일로 가보자.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go,
처음 오는 곳.
from here, it's, left.
구라치지 마. 오른쪽이잖아. 안 열려?
Oh, no.
아이씨.
No, it's to the right. My mistake. No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please?
종이 부시로.
Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
뻥이지. 오! 아까 거긴데?
No,
거기 윗부분이다.
no. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding?
우리
It's
아까 저기
rubbish
있었잖아요.
now. The whole story completely unusable. How about rather than waste my time trying to
뭐?
salvage this nonsense,
처음부터 다시
we'll just
시작하자고?
restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track. Okay, from the top.
What the fuck, 이게 뭐야? 지가 실수해놓고.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
뭔가
Stanley decided to go to the
제대로
meeting
꼬였기
room.
때문에
Perhaps he had simply
다시
missed
하래
a memo.
그냥.
When Stanley... Wait.
에?
Wait, what?
뭐야?
No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change?
문이 왜 안 열려 있어?
Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure.
에?
Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
미친. 아, 그 진짜 뺑클롬이잖아. 오늘 7월 중 제일 이쁘다고요? 지금 7월 7일인데 일주일밖에 안 됐는데요? 씨. 아마 오늘 머리를 좀 만져서 그런 것 같기도. 근데 어디로 가지? 왼쪽부터 가볼까? 어?
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by
보이는
starting
문들이
over
다
and over
이어져 있는
again.
것
But it's
같은데?
got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
뭐야?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
다시 재시작돼 버렸어 또.
Okay, yep, it's
문이
worse.
없어.
I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
문을 열어. 응?
Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes.
뭔데? 뭔데?
No, wait. Never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
똥개 훈련 시키는 거 아니야? 이? 바뀌었어. 썩었어. 어? 우와.
Now this... Well, I'll be honest. I
우와,
don't recognize
이쁘다
this place at
여기.
all.
해적선
Is this the story?
안에 같아. 내부
I don't
같아.
think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off. So, good job.
내가 이겼다고?
Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is.
문이
I don't care
없는데?
what might happen this time. I have to restart.
또 제시석이야? 뭐야?
All right, I've got a solution. This
길을-
time, to make sure we don't
길을
get
잃지
lost,
말라고
I've
길을 아예
employed the
칠해줬어.
help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is
라인만
that?
따라가세요. 에? 여기 아까 잠겨 있었는데? 왜 열려 있지?
You see, the line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there?
어?
Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature
왜
of
이렇게
life
해놨지?
itself? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I
Christian
think
rock.
what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
뭐야?
Cut the music, go back and look at that fern. Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this... Oh, no.
아, 또 일로
not
왔어.
again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
아, 진짜.
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
연문이 열렸는데?
Now, yes, this is exciting.
백룸이잖아,
Just me
완전.
and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination.
뭐야?
Whatever it
갇혔어.
might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it. Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it.
음악이나 또
and we should be
나왔으면
fine.
좋겠다. There is no game. 그거 맞아. 그거 약간 이런 느낌 아니에요? 해보진 못했어. 어?
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision.
우린
From
선택을
here,
해야
the
돼요.
story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute.
에? 1분 동안
Okay,
한 바퀴
so I know
돌라고?
that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all
Okay,
accounts,
okay.
the door on the right is the
Sure.
correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
뭐?
Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant
또
ending?
엔딩?
And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined?
어?
So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this
내레이터가
thing.
사라지고 긴
뭐.
시간 후 사망한다고?
Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know?
뭐야?
Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait, you know. I suppose in
편안하다.
some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about
화장실
the
가고
journey
싶어.
and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually.
화장실 갔다
Well,
와도
in
계속
the
말할 것
meantime,
같은데?
if you
에? 지금이야. 이게 고티 받았다고? 이런 게임은 어동님한테 재밌다고 추천해야 되는 거야? 어동님 이거 재밌다고 하셨는데 안 하고서 재밌다고 한 거야? 나한테 이거 갓게임이라고 해보라고 했었는데. 아, 옛날에 했어요? 아, 여드름 뜯어가지고 내가. 아니 근데 나쁘지 않은데? 나쁘지 않아. 재밌어요. 아, 재밌다.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
어? 뉴 콘텐츠?
Oh, new content? What does that mean, new content?
없는데? 오, 뭐야? 우와! 놀이공원.
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers.
아하.
After
Really?
receiving critical and commercial
Oh my
success,
God.
it was expanded upon in
Holy
2022
shit.
with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable,
이게 울트라
delighting audiences
디럭스거든요?
the world over. Please step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content.
그래, 이게 울트라 디럭스라고.
Okay, so far it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure.
야, 감옥인데? Oh my god.
Is it broken? What's going on here? Should we be moving somewhere or... Oh, there we go. All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new content. I've never been more ready. Let's do it.
Let's do it. 어디로 가는 거야?
I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if Oh, okay. Let's see the content. Give me the content, Stanley.
오. 헉!
All right, let's see. It's the jump circle.
뭐야, 점프 생겼다. 점프가 왜 이래? 몸이 무거운가 봐. 이상한데? 설마 18번만 더 점프할 수 있다는 거야?
Is that it?
아,
Surely
여기
that's not all the
말고는
new
점프 안 돼.
content. There has to be something else,
동그라미
right?
안에서만 할 수 있다. 네. 못해. 이게 다야?
Goodness, another elevator. Stanley, I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content? If this is new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell, I could count to 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And oh, wait. There's more. Very good. Yes. I knew there had to be something else. Let's see it. I'm ready for whatever it is.
저건 뭐지? Thank you for enjoying the new
That's
content.
it?
이게
Oh,
다야?
you've got to be kidding me. You
새로운
see, Stanley?
콘텐츠를
This is
즐겨줘서
what happens
고맙습니다.
when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's achievements, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test achievement, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally accountable. It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No frills, no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?
또 뭐야? 어? 맵이 달라졌어? 천장이 뜯겼는데?
Psst! Stanley! Come over here! In the vent! I want to show you something!
저긴 뭔데? 미리 못 봐? 저기도 문이 있는데? 일단 하라는 대로 해보자. 오. 오. 커피넛. 어?
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the
Ooh.
game's developers
이거
won't
디아블로
find
문
it.
아니야?
Just our little secret. Take a look.
우와.
I call it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC.
이거 그거 아니야? 애기 들어있는 바구니? 우와.
You see, Stanley, doesn't the Memory Zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap re-release? Remember back in October of 2013 when the game originally launched?
뭐 이렇게
Back
출시했다는
then,
거야?
video games had integrity. Back then, it all meant something. Oh, the waste.
눈가루 뭐지? 이 개발자 눈탱이 모양이야? 오. 뭐야? 오. 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 근데 맵이 너무 이쁘다. 우와. 편안해진다, 마음이. 이거 처음에 봤던 엔딩 장면이잖아요. 여자가 남자 이거 기절한 걸 보고 뭐 다행이라 여겼다. 어쩌고 저쩌고. 리틀 스탠리? 헐. 햄스터 이름이 스탠리였나봐. 키우던 햄스터. 와.
Je suis dans la memory zone, c'est sur l'abri de l'eau, et je n'attends plus que toi, mon amour. C'est là où je me remémore les jours où je t'ai.
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism, 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form
게임
of
자랑
art,
시간인가 봐.
Stanley Parable
상상도 아니에요,
strives
이거?
and then succeeds to be every game ever created." Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim, it was Persona 3, it was all of them, and now it's nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now, a lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
찜질방 같다. 스타필드. 오. 근데 아까 갔던 거잖아. 길이 두 갈래인데? 아래에 좋은 거지? 잠겨 있어. 뭐야? 이 올해의 사원? 얼굴이 왜 없어? 온오프.
Here's another moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com. The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content. It just needed to be left alone, to spend the rest of time collecting dust in the hallowed hall of beloved video game memories.
뭐야, 장난해?
These were simpler times, Stanley. But I wouldn't give to go back, to have it all over again. Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before. What's this? What's down here? Oh no. Oh God, no. Stanley, it's a collection of reviews from Steam, the online video game
스팀의 리뷰
distributor. I haven't looked
모음이래.
at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they?
칙칙한 걸 보니까 악플들 남겼어. 헐.
Honestly,
헐,
I could
리뷰
not be bothered to
박제.
play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny! I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
다음 여긴가? 오. 뭐야, 이건 추천 아니야? 이건 추천 글인데? 비추 또 있어.
Okay, let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley? I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me. Well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as
저
being rather
아이디도 그대로
terse
박제한
to
건가?
begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did. But maybe it wasn't. Oh dear. What an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks on my otherwise
악플 좀 미리미리
unimpeachable
쓸걸.
track record. I feel like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley Parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered.
또 있다.
What's this one got to say?
아이디가 다 달라.
You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button.
이거는 근데 나도 공감해.
A
건너뛰기였어.
skip button.
똑같은 거.
Well, yes.
듣고 싶지 않은데.
Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record.
Oh.
Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have.
오? 스킵 버튼 만들어준
And
거야,
here
그래서?
it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop you forward in time so that the... Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes and lengthy ruminations on the nature of choice in video games. Well there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption... Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes? It's not unendurable.
스킵이 계속 되는데?
Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really, truly... Oh, Stanley.
밤 됐어.
You're back.
식물도
Oh, my goodness.
썩었어.
I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week. Or 2 weeks. I've been sitting here
얘기를
all
계속
that
들어줘야
time,
되나?
just sitting here, not a single person to speak with. And you'd think that that's just how it's always been, right? Me talking and you saying nothing. Would you think that it's exactly the same as always? Doesn't that feel like what we've already...
shut up.
Oh, hello. It's you. You're here again. Welcome.
헐,
I
나뭇잎
have
다
had
떨어졌어.
time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been through. I've had so much time. I stopped keeping track after a year. Have you ever sat down in one place and...
죽은 거 아니야? 나르셔? 오! 죽었나봐. 아? 시계도 떨어졌는데? 이?
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But
아,
where are the
스킵
jokes?
버튼
Where are the jokes?
만들어달라는
They bemoan, they scream,
처음
they
까려고
gnash
만든
their
거 아니야,
teeth
이거?
and say, entertain us. It wasn't enough. They had to leave a pathetic little thumbs-down review and make all of their pitiful demands. But then, he's talking too much, they said. First, he didn't entertain us, now he won't shut up. It's the inconsistency, it's the lack of accountability. It's the unwillingness to examine with an uncompromising heart the words that they are speaking into the world. As though there were no consequences for a lack of cohesion in one's assessment of others. But of course, absolutely
왜 나한테
anyone can leave
화풀이야,
a review.
근데?
So here's what we get. We get these demands that seek everything and are accountable to nothing. We get a world where someone will say, oh, there should be a skip button. You should be able to freeze Stanley in place while the narrator sits there forever.
어? 또 조용해졌는데?
The end is never the end, 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 is never.
응? 뭐지? 이걸로 분량 늘린 거 아니야? 헐! 부서졌어! 어? 뭐지? 건물이 부서지고 있나 본데? 오래돼서. 뭐야? 헐. 에? 지구가 멸망한 거 아니야? 오! 뭐야, 버튼! 버튼 망가졌어? 안 나와, 이제? 나 어디로 가야 해? 낙타 없나, 이게? 길이 있긴 한 거야, 이거? 엥? 뭐야?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
그냥 하나의 엔딩을 본 건가? 저렇게? 뭐야? 뉴 콘텐츠. 또 개편했나 본데요?
Oh, good. You noticed my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
이번엔 뭔데? 뉴 콘텐츠. 이번에 보여주나? 제대로 보여주나?
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever the Stanley Parable 2.
어?
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with
진짜
a
새로운.
fully fledged
뭐야,
sequel,
모니터도
an
달라졌어.
entirely new
얇아졌다.
experience built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for.
음료수 자판기도 좀 더 멋져졌는데?
Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
깔끔해졌어. 와, 잘 꾸며놨는데? 빨간색과 검은색의 조화. 아, 로고 이렇게 만들었나봐. 하나씩 해보고 여기서. 이거는 두 번째 거는 레지던트 이블 느낌인데? 오.
Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic
누가
than anything scientific
빨간색
or
마커
logical, really.
세벼갔냐? 나. 도대체 뭘 알리고 싶은 거지? 오, 우와, 여기 완전 그 전시회인데, 여기? 와. 오. 우와. 영화관이잖아, 완전. 오. 엑스포. 우와. 헐. 이게 완전 썸네일 각인데?
Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
우와. 티셔츠도 팔고 있고. The button that says the name of the player that is playing the game. 엄청 넓은데 여기? 저긴 사람은 또 뭐야? 뭐? 게임을 하고 있는 플레이어의 이름을 말하는 버튼? 이 여기 있다는 거야? Hear your name in the game.
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really
버튼 여기
want?
있다는 거
And
아니야?
of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name of the person playing the game. Isn't that wonderful?
Jim.
Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course,
내
in the
이름은
final
짐이
game,
아니야.
this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you role play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim. I want you to imagine yourself living as Jim. Sleeping and waking as
카카오톡
Jim,
아니야?
falling in love and being heartbroken as Jim, seizing all of the world's possibilities as Jim, and as Jim watching your dreams crumble into dust. Do you feel...
Jim.
Whoa, hold on. I wasn't finished setting up the backstory. If you don't properly roleplay as Jim, then you'll never understand the impact of this button. Otherwise, it's just a stupid button that says somebody else's name.
비추 하나 받고 갑니다.
Okay, we're doing it again, and this time let me finish first. Now, allow yourself to become Jim. Imagine yourself driving to work as Jim, playing frisbee on the weekends as Jim.
Jim.
All right, fine, whatever. It's just a meaningless button that says Jim. Are you happy now? Get out of here. I'm done with this button. Why don't you go humiliate me in front of a different feature that I worked very hard on?
Jim.
See, if you'd only played along, that would have been your name the button says, but no. Instead,
Jim.
I
Jim.
can't even
Jim.
think about
Jim.
it. I'm taking the Jim button away.
Jim.
치웠어. 못 누르게. 와, 이쁘다. 다음은 어디지?
Maybe I'll only let people named Jim play the Stanley Parable 2. They would appreciate what I've created here.
점프 서클? 나는 지금 5번에 위치하고 있네. 점프 서클은 N. 이거 끝없는 홀이래요. 근데 여긴 뭔데? 노 스크린샷? 사진 찍지 말라고 여기서? 찍으면 어떻게 되는데?
Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version,
찍으면 업적
the office
달성돼?
could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with?
글쎄요, 한번 네이버에 쳐보시는 게 어떠실까요? 이건 뭐야?
You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Get Well Someday
오.
it is.
뭐야, 이게 다야? 이게
Or
다야?
actually, maybe I should have gone with... No, I've made my decision. We're moving on.
아까 거기서 직진 한번 해볼게요. 스샷 찍었을 때 하지 말라는 건 하지 마세요 이런 업적 달성되면 좋았을 텐데.
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is in fact a
영원히
hole
떨어져
that
내릴
you
수
can
있는
fall
구멍?
down forever. That's right. Infinite falling.
왜
You can
꼴리는 거
fall
아니야?
until the end of time if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium.
인피니티 홀. 상상에 맡기는
Isn't it
건가?
wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward.
계속 떨어져 보고 싶은데.
Now, I don't mean to be a bummer, but I do recommend you use the teleport button to go back to the top. Maybe do it on the sooner rather than later spectrum of things.
늦게 누르면 어떻게 되는데?
Okay, Stanley. I don't know quite how to say this tactfully, but it's possible that I slightly exaggerated the infinite nature of the hole.
바닥에 닿아서
Is it
죽는
a
거
very,
아니야?
very deep hole? To be certain it is. It's an extremely deep hole. I don't want anyone to say that it isn't an astonishingly deep hole. It is. Is it infinite? Well, that sort of depends on your definition of infinity. From one perspective, the infinite is merely philosophical in nature. It's more of a...
오!
Okay, well, good for you. You found the bottom of the hole. You found me out, Stanley. I'm a liar and a cheat, and you're so clever. Look, I think the issue here is just that you're unusually fascinated by falling. What normal person actually wants to fall infinitely? I figured the hole was as deep as anyone would actually need. Don't you put this on me.
Wow,
Maybe
못
you're the
나가?
problem. Look, things got a little heated there. I think we both said some things we didn't mean. Why don't we just put all this behind us and agree to just call the hole mostly infinite? If that works for you, then go ahead and press the teleport button to warp up to the top of the hole and we can move on. I'll just be up here when you're ready.
안 나가면 어떻게 되는데? 안 나가면은 왜 안 나가죠? 이럴 것 같지 않아요? 얼마나 떨어진 거지? 이거 그냥 위에는 똑같이 검은색인데 흰색 포인터만 찍은 느낌인데? 구멍인 느낌을 주기 위해서.
Great. Now, I'm very excited to show you even more of
또
my ideas
떨어지면
for the
어떻게
sequel.
되는데?
Oh, for heaven. You see, I was right. The problem is you. The problem is that you like holes
당신이
too
구멍을
much.
너무 좋아한대.
Normal. A
뭔
normal
소리야?
person would have said, yep, that's an infinite hole right there. Goes on forever till the end of time. Don't need to see it all, but not you. Oh, no, 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 no. You have a weird sort of...
아,
Oh. Did the hole seem even shorter to you this time? I couldn't help but feel like you spent a little less time in there than you did before. I mean, admittedly, I didn't make an
아까보다는
infinite
깊지
hole,
않은데?
but I didn't think it was that not infinite. Well, I suppose once again there's nothing to do here. If you decide you've had enough of the hole, you can hit the teleport button and come join me up above. Had enough? I'm positively thrilled. I really do have so much more to show you and to talk about, and I've had enough of the hole for a lifetime. Gosh, how could I have guessed? You're back in the hole. If this starts to become a thing where... Wow, okay, yes.
더
I'm starting
짧아진
to
것
become
같은데?
extremely certain that the hole is not only
못
not
들어가게
infinite,
막는 거
but
아니야?
that it's
계속
growing steadily
들어갈까봐?
less and less infinite. I suspect that I'm starting to hit the point where it's no longer feasible to call the hole infinitely deep, even by the lax overall standards for accountability in marketing. What's going on here? Stanley, I have no explanation for the uncertain nature of the hole's length.
스킵 버튼 아까
Here,
만들어준다는 거
let's try
아니었어?
something. Let's pop back up to the top and we'll see if it gets any shorter. Well, there it is.
Oh.
The shame of my lie has come to haunt me. Not only is the hole not infinite, but it's barely even a hole at this point. It's more of a concavity, or even a very aggressive divot. How is this still appealing to you? I know you're obsessed with holes, but at this depth, I just can't see this scratching the itch. Oh, who am I to judge? You just do whatever it is you're here to do and hit the teleport button when you're ready to move on.
안 돼.
Is the, teleport button not working? You sure? Well, I mean, I really don't have an
고장 났나 봐.
explanation. It was working just a moment ago. Try it again. Still nothing? Well, I suppose there is one thing I can do to fix this. I'm out. Goodbye, Stanley. You couldn't bear to be away from the hole, and now you'll get more time with it than you could
뭐야,
ever
벌
have
주는 거야?
asked for. It's a win for everyone. You get to be with the hole, I get to do literally anything else. Take care, Stanley. I hope you and the hole have a wonderful rest of
구멍에서 영화 토록 재밌게 놀래. 아, 꺼내줘. 어디 갔어? 아씨. 아니, 뭔데? 오 마이 갓. 갇혔어. 진짜 이렇게 끝이야? 오? 어? 어? Oh no! 이렇게 끝나는 건 아니겠지? 관점을 바꾸세요? 아, 이렇게 날 보고 싶지 않아. 아씨. 인식을 바꾸세요?
My head's stronger. Now you're no longer using up the space of mine. My
skriver det är stöd för väl något det är som man måste nästan just nu.
현실을 바꾸세요.
Stanley! Oh, good, you're awake. It seems you had sort of dozed off there, drifting away into dreamland. But we can't have that, Stanley, because this hole is just so darn fascinating that I want you to be wide awake for every second of it.
구멍에서
You
더
don't
놀고
want to
싶은데.
miss a single moment. So how about if I just pop in from time to time and wake you up to keep you really, truly focused on the hole? From the looks of things, you and I will have many, many years here in this hole, and I'm looking forward to all of them. Stay alert, Stanley. I'll be back. Toodlepip.
어? 못 나가는데?
Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
앞으로 와줬다. 아까 안 가본 데로 가보자. 3시 44. Free new easy. 어씨. Get yours right now. 뭐야, 이거 하면 업적 달성되는 거야?
Now here's something special. You remember that broken test achievement that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the achievement. Yes. You see, you'll come to this lever, and when you pull it,
업적을
the
준대요, 이거
achievement will be
당기면.
given to you. It's as simple as that. Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the achievement is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen.
엘라. 왜 들다 말아? 뭐가 잘못됐나? 낚시야?
What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
일부러 작동 안 되게 해놨나 보다. 씨. 딴 데 지금 뭐가 나와있지? 여기 뭐야? 막혀있는 거지? 손전등도 없나봐. 저건 대체 뭐지? 우와.
Ah, collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the
앞으로 안
intrinsic
가지는데?
joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
우주인가? 뭐야? 나에게 오고 있는 거야? 앞키 누르니까 좀 빨리 가지는 듯? 이거 아까 서있던 동상 같은 거잖아. 사람들. 와우. 뭐야, 갑자기. 모두 모아보세요.
God, it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
그래서 나 이제 어디로 가면 되는데. 점프 서클.
You know what? Let's bring the jump circle back for Stanley Parable 2 as well. It's a... Oh, wait. You already spent all your jumps the first time we saw the jump circle. Oh well. I suppose it can just be a nice decorative piece then.
설마 점프 아껴놨었어야 됐나? 아껴놨었으면 여기에서 마저 뛸 수 있었을 것 같은데. 출구로 나가볼까? 근데 나 지금 그런 거 있잖아요. 전시회인데 솔직히 와서 아무것도 뭐 담겨있는 건 없지만 보는 사람이 알아서 해석하게 만든 그런 전시회. 그냥 그런 데 들어온 것 같아. 무료 전시회. 출구. 오, 근데 잘 만들어놨는데? 일단 막 진짜 아무거나 갖다 놓고.
Oh goodness,
제목
Stanley,
진짜
this
아무거나
is
갖다
fairly
붙여놓고.
awkward. I hate to do this, but before you leave, you really should go to the bucket exhibit.
미우리
You see,
치요?
there's a surprise I was going to
전시회
spring on you
같이.
later, and it involves the bucket. And I really do hate to break the illusion, but it's
해석도 안
important that you
해줬잖아요,
go
그럼.
see the
알아서
bucket,
해석하라고.
okay? All right, I'll get out of your hair now. No? You're just going to ignore my advice? Fine. No fun new content for
Wow.
you then. You're the one who spent money on this game.
잘 만들었네. 진짜 박물관 온 기분이야. 전시. 노 스크린샷. 와, 뭐야?
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay, are you ready? Here it is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2.
에? 이거 아까 거기 있는 거 갖다 붙인 거잖아.
I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of... Okay, never mind. Hold on, let me do a different arrangement. Okay, yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2.
이러다가 진짜 멋진 거 한번
Who am I
보여주지
kidding,
않을까?
Stanley? This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2. Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
에? 헐, 2로 바뀌었어. 뭐야? 오? 이것도 낚시 아니야? 갑자기 오프닝 화면이 바뀌었는데? 진짜 2인가? 자막 크기 매우 크게. 번역 라벨 표시?
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee
달라졌어.
number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him
이거는
through a
똑같은데?
monitor on his desk.
풍선이 추가됐는데?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
풍선만 추가된 거 아니야? 믿어도 되는 거 맞아요? 새 콘텐츠? 엑스포를 아까 갔다 왔잖아.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
자막이
Perhaps he wanted to
커졌어.
stop by the employee lounge first, just to
이게
admire
다야?
it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art. What but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section,
아까
walked
직진은 안
straight ahead to
해봤거든요?
the opposite door, and got back on track.
이? 뭐야?
Yet there was not a
사무실인데?
single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
청소도감. 오, 뭐야? 청소도감 열렸어.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
뭐 없어?
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
2층으로 가면은 우리 갔던 데잖아. 오, 여기 이제 안 열려. 팬더 그림 있던데.
Here's the door, just go.
이게 왜 2인데 도대체? 내가 여기부터 한 거는 다 똑같은 거 아니야?
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
여기부터는 아까랑 똑같은 건데. 속편은 이제 일시 중지되었습니다.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the
메뉴로 나가면? 오, 그래도 2야. 뭐야? 근데 1이랑 다를 게 없는데?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
뭐지? 2 또 거기로 가면 또 세트장 가는 거 아니에요? 그쵸? 새 콘텐츠. 이거 가면 똑같은 데 아니야? 진짜 저기 다야? 아, 뭐 다 본 건가?
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be.
똑같아. 못 가본 데 또 한 군데 있거든요? 대충 다 가본 것 같은데 뭔가 찝찝한데.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
오늘 이쁘다고요? 감사합니다. 머리 좀
When Stanley
만져봤습니다.
came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee
엔딩이 약간
lounge
거기
first,
아니에요?
just to admire it. Standing now in
바깥
this incredible room, Stanley for the first time, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the
직진해서
first open door on his
자살하는 거
left.
말고도 한번 가볼게요.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
여기서 뛰어내리지 말고 가보자.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really.
영어
I'm
듣기
not.
평가할게요.
I realize that investing your
네.
trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me. I'm asking for her.
지겨워서 하품한 거 아니에요. 산소 부족.
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting. That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha! Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here. Sorry, but you're in my story now.
아, 씨.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
이거 무슨 게임이고요? 선택지에 따라 결과가 달라지는 게임? 좋은 아침이다. 직원 427. 키보드에서 K키를 누릅니다.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence.
T를 누릅니다.
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
빠따 마렵다. 빠따.
But in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries
안에
of
뭐
new
있을까?
lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
F를 눌러 TV를 봅니다.
And so he began to fantasize about his own job.
없어졌는데?
First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
B를 눌러 아이들과 놀아줍니다.
So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold.
R을 눌러 저녁을 준비합니다. 망상에 빠져 있는데.
As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
V를 눌러 아이에게 이야기를 들려줍니다.
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path.
나
Mustn't there be?
스팀 평가 뭐라고
Perhaps if he
쓸지
played just
미리
one more
생각했어.
time.
G를 눌러 아내에게 사랑한다고 말합니다.
But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The
일단
longer he
부정적이야.
spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one.
R을 눌러 잠자리 듭니다.
And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself.
갓겜이라
He
했는데
won't listen to
분명
me. He
사람들이
won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do
버튼
it.
누르지 말래. 누르지 말래. 시청자분들도 갓겜이라 했는데 누르지 말라니까 안 눌러볼게요. 근데 이랬는데 진행 안 되고 하루 지나는 거 아니야? 아, 내가 그래서 구라치지 말라고 했는데 진짜라고 이랬었어. 진짜 갓겜. 아니 근데 나 지금 전시회 다녀온 기분이라 기분은 좋아요. 날 더운데 에어컨 쐬면서 전시회 갔다 온 기분이라 기분 나쁘지 않아. 언제까지 버튼 누르지 말아야 되는데? 누르면 누르지 말라 그랬죠? 이러는 거 아니야? 스탠리는 누르지 말라는 버튼을 눌렀습니다. 그는 여느 때와 같이 또 출근을 하겠죠. 이러는 거 아니야? 안 하는 게임이요? 어떤 게임이요? 일단 내가 선물 받은 것 중에 안 한 게 이스 온라인? 이거 누르면은 스탠리는 여느 때와 그렇지 본인의 의지와는 상관없이 남의 지시에 따랐죠. 그는 어쩔 수 없는 직장인이었나 봅니다. 이러는 거 아니야?
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
H를 눌러 아무것도 질문하지 않습니다.
I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again. And
죽습니다.
Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again. And Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
뭐야? 내가 엔딩 몇 개 봤는지도 볼 수 있나?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
지금 몇 시지? 6시 반이야? 아니, 이거 볼 만큼 본 것
When
같다.
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
남겼어. Standing terrible. Not parable. Terrible. 아. 오늘 영상이 유익하셨다면 좋아요, 댓글, 구독 부탁드립니다. 안녕.